Good evening guys, it's Will Lem with another Amiga NeoLemmix LP where I'm going to play through a few levels from the original game on both platforms, and we're going to look and see what the differences in gameplay are. So this time we're looking at direction select. Now direction select is where when you've got a crowd of lemmings and you want to make sure that you choose a lemming that's facing in the correct direction, so it may be the left or it might be the right, what you need to do is you use the arrow keys to make sure that you're selecting a lemming that's facing in the direction that you want to go. So NeoLemmix does have this feature and it's brilliant. It means that you're not relying on luck, you're not relying on trial and error to get the right lemming, and you don't click and get the wrong lemming and then it just unravels your whole solution. You know that you're always going to get the right result. On the Amiga you don't have direction select, so there's certain things that you need to do to get around it, which I'll show you in a moment. But for now, we're going to have a look at a level on NeoLemmix. We're going to look at All or Nothing. So here it is. It's level 24 from Mayhem. And the idea with this level is that the lemmings fall out in between these two blocks here. And obviously we've only got 3 bashes, so we need to bash that way to drop them down here. Then we need to bash through the centre, fall down to here, and then bash this way. So 3 bashes, you've got to get it right first time. Now if I hover my cursor over, you can see the skill shadow going absolutely crazy there, but if I press left, I know that when I click I'm going to get a lemming that's facing to the left. And then down here, same thing, I need to click to the right, and I know I'm going to get a lemming that's facing to the right. Same thing again down here, I just press left, and it's as easy as that. It really is simple. I can even go back. It's so easy. I can just do it again. Bish. Bash. Bosh. No problem. No problem. Dead easy. And again, there's just no trial and error. It's just, you know that you're absolutely going to get it right. However, the Amiga doesn't have that feature, so let's see what it's like to play the same level on the Amiga. Okay, so we've got the same level, slightly different story now because we don't have direction select available. So I've still got to select a lemming that's facing to the left here, but the way I do it is I hover the cursor just to the right until it's flickering like that, and then it'll select a lemming that's facing the other way. I've got a time limit in this level, so I'm just going to crack on and do it first and I'll explain it. There we go. So yeah, when the cursor's flickering like that, it's because as the lemmings are walking into the wall, or in this case into the little blocks, they're turning round. So when the cursor is over that way, it's selecting them when they've hit the wall and turned round. So that's how you know that by using that technique you're pretty much guaranteed to get a lemming that's facing in the opposite direction. So it doesn't always work like that though. Sometimes you need to select a lemming from the middle of a crowd. Let's say you need to do a build or something and you've got to select a lemming from somewhere in the middle of the crowd. That's where direction select really comes into its own. So let's have a look at a few other levels and see what the differences are. Okay, so we've got Mayhem level 21 with a twist of lemming, please. And we're going to see how direction select really comes in handy with this level. First thing I'm going to do is set the release rate to about 80, maybe 90, because they're all coming out of this hatch. They're going to splat straight away. We've got to assign each of them a floater. This is where pre-assigned hatches come in really handy in NeoLemmix. So yeah, let's do this. Whoa, I need to assign the digger here as well. So yeah, those of you who don't like spam clicking, this is definitely one of those levels. There we go. So as you can see, we've got a crowd here, and they're going to need to bash through this wall, so this is where the direction select comes in handy. Let's just speed this up a bit. So he needs to build over there. That build turns him round, unfortunately, but we just do that. Let's turn him back around, and then I can line that up using the skill shadow, and that's that bit of the level done. So the only bit that you need to worry about now then is this, and because of the skill shadows, I can see when I've got a right facing lemming anyway, but the point here is that I want to use direction select to make absolutely sure that I get the right lemming. So if I press to the right, I'm only ever going to select a lemming that's facing to the right, and then I can click. So that's that done. Now on the Amiga version, again, it's slightly different, so let's have a look at that. Okay, so the main difference with the Amiga version is this bit at the end here, where you've got a crowd of lemmings and you need to make sure that they're bashing to the right. Obviously I don't have direction select, so I can't use that, and I can't even use my cursor trick because the cursor will be too far over to the left. Even if I select a lemming that's facing to the right, they're too far away from the wall to start bashing through it. So it really is a case of just a click and hope. So let's just see how this goes. I also can't increase the release rate whilst the game is paused, so I've got to kind of do it in between assigning the floaters. I'll just go with 60 for now, and then make sure I get this digger assigned. And I might just increase it slightly. And again, because I don't have frame stepping, I've got to make sure that I assign these floaters. And it just requires that little bit more concentration. Okay, so now is about the time to do the digger, and I've still got 9 more of these to do. Okay, so that's that done. Right, so here we go. It literally is a case of click and hope. I'm going to click somewhere in the middle, and just hopefully I'll get a lemming that's facing to the right. There we go. So now you're just thinking, thank God I don't have to assign all those floaters again. Cup of tea time. There we go. Right, on to the next. Okay, so this is a choice which you may find surprising. Follow the leader, taxing level 25, is surprisingly different on the Amiga when you're playing it versus when you're playing it on NeoLemmix, particularly when it comes to the direction select, and I'll show you why. So on NeoLemmix, I mean, this level is frankly boring. So, you know, you're just basically waiting for them to walk all the way over the landscape, and I can just make him bash, make him build pretty much straight away, and then when he turns around, make him bash again, make him build, and I can contain all the lemmings just within this little area here whilst our worker builds up to the exit. Okay, so all the lemmings bunched together in this little area, and thanks to direction select, I've only got one builder left, but thanks to direction select I can make sure that I'm going to get one that's facing to the right and is about in the area. I can't see the skill shadow as you can see, but I can select one. You can see, because he's highlighted red, he's about in the right area. If I click, that's going to build them out of that pit, and then they can just walk home. Easy. Okay. Not quite so on the Amiga. Let's have a look. Okay, so the Amiga version is going to require a slightly different approach to that solution. I'll explain whilst they're walking over all these arches. So, the technique of creating a basher pit here, it's not really going to work, because if it's too small and the crowd is too small, even if I manage to by chance select a right facing lemming, the positioning might be too wrong. It might be slightly too far to the left, slightly too far to the right. He's going to hit his head and he's not going to make it out of the basher pit. So that technique, in the absence of direction select and knowing which lemming I'm selecting, it's not really going to fly, so I need to think of something else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this lemming build through this the middle of the three coloured in arches. We still send our worker off to do the building up to the exit. And we can just let those guys carry on bashing for a bit. Right, okay, now I'm going to cancel this one just before he gets through the end. And then same with this one. And that'll just stop them walking off in the other direction. Right, okay, he's definitely going to make it up there now, so I can free the crowd. I've got a choice now, because I've made a nice wide basher pit. I could build out from there, but there's a chance that you might not quite make it, so I'd rather just do the safest bet and just bash out. So yeah, that just shows that even a level as simple as follow the leader, without having that direction select ability and without even having the ability to see which lemming I'm selecting, it just changes your approach to the level slightly. And in this case, I'd consider that to be almost a completely different solution. We're still making a basher pit, but it's, you know, we're working it slightly differently. Yeah, the marble set is another one that I really like. Just grand. Okay, so hopefully that's shown you how direction select can make a big difference to the game on those platforms. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching that. I'll be back with another one of these next time, so thanks for watching. I'll see you then. Bye for now.